guitarist. It transcends. First, it kind of went to African music, and then it moved on to that. I was looking at it as a degeneracy, because music was more of like showing respect to higher beings and stuff, spirits and stuff like that, you know, and
I can see the
it some
degeneracy thing that you're talking about because I found it interesting that they didn't show soul music at all. Like that's
yeah
a big genre to skip over. Like you don't show soul and R&B. Instead, you show the African tribal stuff, which was a cool scene. I like that scene
yeah
a lot. I thought that
yeah
scene was really dope. Um, Honestly, they could have done a musical where the whole movie was just like stuff like that, and I think it would have been a
right
much better movie. But
yeah
anyway, um, the whole like I felt like it was wrong for them to like. I guess if you want to say that punk rock music is degenerate, but it is kind of true that maybe. But then they went into hip hop, and early hip hop was not degeneracy. Like when they were showing the b boys dancing and stuff like that, that was like more pure hip hop. That's before it became all this. Like at the end of that clip, they showed the ratchet hip hop with the girls twerking and people just, hey, hey, hey. That was like I was like, bro, that clip, that part of the whole music stuff was the
good
most. It didn't belong there. Like you have all these other like cool art forms. You even got the Asian like it seemed like they were geishas dancing. Um, and then all of a sudden, towards the end in the back corner, you got these people twerking and stuff, and it's just like, no, bro, that was that. I know
yeah
why
I
they
mean
did it. They did it
yeah
because it's popular today. That's the
yeah
mainstream, and that's the type
it,
of music they want to promote. Honestly,
right yeah so I don't I haven't heard nobody really touched on that with
I'm just
that
upset that they didn't put the soul music in the R&B. Like that's a
yeah
big.
I didn't
You
thought
didn't
about
put
that I
soul. You
didn't think
didn't put
about that
funk. Like that. Like that's a like you skipped a lot of huge, important black music.
yeah
Um, and just went straight to the rock. I didn't have any problem with the rock. Some people think that he was supposed to be like Jimi Hendrix. I didn't have any problem with him being in there. I didn't have
yeah
any problem with the hip hop and stuff. But to really skip out on a lot of other great, like you could have at least had like someone like the Temptations in there, like
mm,
dancing at one point, because that
yeah
it's almost like they're trying to hide that type of music from the history of black music. I
mm,
mean, when you omit it, like, cause bro, think about it. When we were growing up, and we're after the Temptations when we were growing
right
up, but we still heard them left and right, and
yeah
everybody singing that stuff. Like you'll
yeah
still hear it today.
they made a comeback though like in the 80s they did make a comeback like in 80 somewhere in the 80s
They ain't have no Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, bro, Earth, Wind, and
yeah
Fire is still like one of like if you think about like black music from the back in the
right
day, played a lot. Like everywhere you go,
yeah I feel you
Michael Jackson, and then right behind that is like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think.
yeah 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 I mean yeah I mean yeah I don't know I mean yeah
I mean, if you went into this much detail with that movie, which they did, then they left those types of groups and stuff out on purpose, or that style of music, they left it out on purpose. And so this is
right
why I'm skeptical about what you're talking about with the hype of this movie. I don't
yeah
trust. I don't trust. Like I don't think Ryan Coogler had full say on what he could do in the movie. Like the truth is, these directors, especially if you're a black director, you got to do
yeah
what these white owners, producers, what they want you to do. At the end of the day, it
yeah
ain't all like what your creative vision is. Yes, he has a style, and he gets to say put quite a bit of stuff in there, but there's a lot of stuff that they want to push. And when I watch these movies, what I'm thinking the whole time I'm watching them is what type of programming are they trying to do on black people? Because that's generally the history of our race in this country
you
is
get
whenever big
manipulated
yes. And even this, when people are coming out saying, oh, they're trying to wake people up or they're trying to what's it called? Like it's a metaphor for people vampiring, blah blah blah. Well, I'm like, they're coming out with this stuff for a reason, and they're trying to lull more of you in with their bullshit. Like, especially when you
Yeah.
said that they like something about has to do with like the Democrats or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
like anytime they start using politics, because I don't lean, I'm not for either political party. I don't
Right.
trust either one of them motherfuckers. I
Right.
think they both are meant to fuck not just black people up, but just all regular American citizens up.
Right.
Um,
Well you go listen to this person what he says. I'll play a little bit of it.
Now, what is it we supposed to be doing? Being kind to one another.
People are not talking about Cornbread's character in that specific scene enough. Obviously, this scene kicks off the main climax and where all the action begins, and we see that the characters find out that they're dealing with vampires. But this scene specifically, when Cornbread comes back to the juke joint after he's been turned into the undead, into a vampire, them inside of the juke joint, they don't necessarily know what's going on. But Annie, who is someone who is a practitioner of the occult, dark arts, and hoodoo and things of that nature, and she's more knowledgeable of the supernatural, she's challenging him because she knows that something's off, and she's already starting to plant the seeds to the people in the juke joint that he can't come in here uninvited, which, as we know in vampire lore, vampires cannot come into your home or enter into your life or being without your invitation. I said this on my other video and talks about in regards to how this is how sin works as well too, and how the devil and the powers that be try to also infiltrate your spirit in your life, but they can only do so with your consent and your willingness to do so. Now, if you go back to that scene, I just stitched this. The part when the older gentleman who's the drunkard and he says, well, what is that we're supposed to be doing? And then Cornbread goes, being kind to one another. And it's this big, grandiose type of gesture, just trying to, making it seem like, oh, this, of course, is what we're supposed to be doing. And he goes on to say, we're all one. We're all one people. Now, where else have we heard that type of rhetoric before? I'm not going to get too deep into it because this is a platform that loves to flag. But if you go back and listen to that scene, when Cornbread and he's talking about like, oh, we're being kind to one another. We're all we're all one people. We're all the same. And if you've heard that before, it's also in regards to this agenda that's being pushed. And I mean, when I say agenda, like you can actually research how there's different types of like, when you talk about like New World Order, there's different doctrines that talk about this whole concept of leading society on a world systemic, like societal basis of this goal of being a one people with a one gender, a one religion, a one type of race, a one sexuality. And it's all the agenda, it's all going in. So the way that they're able to kind of push this, because if you really
What did you think about what he said?
that dude's reaching. He's pulling a bunch of bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like, yeah, there's some truth to like the government's trying to like simplify all this other stuff, but people reach for that. That conspiracy has been going on for like what's it, like 20 years now. Like, and I don't think that was part of the whole Cornbread thing. I do, when I saw Cornbread say all that, it sounds just like a hippie from California would say, you know. So but to say that this is now like they're trying to, that's what the vampires were trying to do, they do seem a little bit like that. But at the end of the day, like the movie didn't do a good job, and it really, and this is why some people are just throwing or reaching for symbolism, because the movie doesn't show that that's what they're trying to create at all, is some one world government. Never once do the vampires, from what I remember, I mean, they did say something about they just all want to have a good time, that type of thing. But that's because they were
Yeah.
trying to break the defenses of Smoke and Stack and all the people in the party. They're trying to weasel their way in so they can suck their blood and fucking feed off of them.
Right.
Like they're trying to tie that into the whole one world government type of thing is like that's a stretch. Not saying that it. I'm not saying that it couldn't be in there, but like
Yeah.
people be trying to throw some of these conspiracies into everything. And here's the thing: when you try to put the conspiracies into everything, like eventually some people are like, bro, this is like some of y'all are on some BS, and then it causes people to look at conspiracies like, oh, like all of them are false. When in reality, a lot of them are true. It's just people are like it's almost like they're abusing them right now. Like
Right.
so, this dude, him throwing his interpretation, like you know, he's completely entitled to do that. But I'm just like, bro, the dude's either just trying to get clicks, or he's being paid to fucking try to pull some, to push some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I could agree because I don't know about that one government, one people, or one race, and one sexuality. That
There was nothing in there, nothing in the movie hinted at anything like that. This dude is just throwing his
but I would
own
say,
agenda
yeah.
into it.
No, I would say like the vampires, they wasn't looking at color or anything like that.
I can agree
They
with
thought
that,
that
and
they
and
were like a family.
and that's what's funny is, and that's why I don't like the fact that they used the Irish person, because Irish people and black people actually did used to be somewhat cool with each other in this nation before they came up with the whole concept of race or white versus black. Like Irish people were not considered white back in the day.
Yeah, I heard.
The English people hated them. English fucking hated them, but the English created that whole concept of like this white race and unity to kind of like create more like stepping stones, like black people at the bottom, and then we're gonna let like Irish and Italians and Jews be like a level above them.
Mm.
But this whole like when I saw from the vampires, honestly, their behavior is very similar to what you've seen from like if you looked at like a lot of the Communist Party members who
Yeah, I
went
was saying
and
that same
affected.
thing. I was saying the same thing. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That because I've been learning about communism and the Maoist, what's his name, Vladimir Lenin. He had people. I think that's how black people, where people kind of look at black people as when they destroy their own property. That's where they get it from, like with Maoism, and because a lot of black people, especially the Black Panthers, they were very encouraged, they were very influenced by that, and they wanted to emulate that behavior, that what they're doing now. People just feel,
A lot of black civil rights leaders were influenced by communism, but they weren't
yeah,
trying to take it to that level of extreme. Like I
yeah,
think the Communist Party, like I remember reading Richard Wright. He was a black author from back in the day, and he was lured in by the Communist Party, but he ended up realizing like they were really extreme because they lured in with the whole like everybody's equal, and a lot of the Communist Party members were Jewish, from according to his experience.
right.
And I'm not anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish or anything like that, but you have to look at the history of the people that go in and try to lure black people in as their allies, and then go and stab them in the back over and over and over again. And they're very good at hiding the way they do it because they control the media, and the media shapes people's minds.
Yeah,
Television, music, mainstream stuff, all that stuff is very an education system, very influential on shaping people's minds. So, um, whenever they have studied the way our group of people, and I don't like, I am sometimes iffy about lumping all black people together, but it's, for the sake of this discussion, I will. But they constantly have mastered these outside groups, Europeans, and not all Europeans either. Like I hate sometimes uh, generalizing it because we can't sit there and look at every freaking country and people from Europe who are actively exploiting black people throughout history. That's not been the
Right.
case at all. It's been several of them on the western side of Europe who have, but they go and they continue to master ways of manipulating black people as a whole. And one of the main ways is through emotional stuff. We are a very
Yeah.
emotional people. Um, and the fact that we are economically at the bottom still in this country, as well as the history that we've had in the past of being constantly oppressed, makes us very susceptible to anything that'll make us feel good. And these people who run the media, they know that stuff, and they know when to start whipping it out like magic to get us all hooked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I asked you. That's why I kept asking you. Is it like, are you seeing this stuff happening on real life, or are you seeing it on the internet? Because
On
done
the
on the
internet,
internet,
majority
when
of the
it's on,
times. I mean,
when it's
I
hype on the
mean,
internet, when it's hype on the
yeah.
internet, you know. And here's the thing: you got to think about. If it's hype on the internet, but you're not, when you're walking down the streets of New York, you're not hearing people talk about this movie like that. You
No.
gotta wonder. You gotta wonder: is this a real? Is this something people are really talking about, or is this something that people are jumping on to try to get more clicks and likes, or are they getting paid for this type of shit to
Well,
promote it?
that's why I wanted to do this discussion, because I know, everybody wasn't, I know the movie wasn't all that. That's why I wanted to do it,
Yeah, the movie is
you
just
know.
solid. It's not a
Yeah,
bad movie. Like I
yeah,
thought when you told me to go watch it, I thought it was gonna be a bad movie. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is enjoyable. It's
yeah,
slow. I was sitting there thinking to myself, like around the even the 30-minute mark, I was like, okay, we need to start like picking up like the
yeah,
pace or like what the plot is really gonna be about, like that type of shit. But I was still like, okay, the scenes are all enjoyable. It's like a little bit like a character drama, but then it does get really good at parts, but those good parts are super rushed. And I was just like,
yeah,
whoa, this is not a very it's a well-made film technically, but in terms of the story, I'm like, man, here's the thing, it was so well made that it could have been a great movie. Like I feel
yeah,
like when I was watching it, I was like, bro, this had the makings of something that could have been like really, really good. Not like greatest movie of all time type of shit, but
right.
just something that people are like, oh, bro, this was the best movie of 2025, that type of thing.
Yeah,
Um, and no, it doesn't it falls short of that, in my opinion.
yeah. My friend didn't like it. He's not black, and he was like it. It started off slow, and just for it. He was saying that he felt he was looking at it as a musical.
It should have been a
So
musical. I think it would have been
yeah,
better had it been a musical, just to be honest.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, and so I not to cut you off, but so I was asking him like, he said it took an hour just for the action. So
yep.
I was yeah. So I was asking him like, what was the focus on segregation in the 1930s? Was it hard for you to kind of get into it because of the focus of segregation in the 1930s? And then he didn't respond. So I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if they would have just focused on that, it would have been a good movie. If they would have just like
Yeah,
instead, like if they took out because they did such a good job with the world building. They really did throw us into what it was like to live in that time.
right.
Um, so if they just would have focused on it being about the segregation, and then also just this blacks doing their own things, and then also you know maneuvering through groups like the Ku Klux Klan, and then also just dealing with their everyday interactions with white people and a few other races. That would have been fine. Could have been a character drama, but I don't think it needed to be like a movie about race, because that's one of the
Right.
things I kind of liked about the movie until the
I,
whole
w-
KKK scene at the end.
I
Like
was
they,
saying that not go ahead. I ain't mean to cut you off.
no, no, I hold on. I gotta use the restroom real quick, but I want to
All right,
jump back in, and we can. I'll let you start, and then I'll jump back in on what I want to say
all right,
about that. Hold on one second.
all right. So I'll probably play a video or
Cool.
something. Let me see. Well, hold on, guys. So I'll play something on YouTube or something like that. Let me see. Hold on. This YouTube. Okay.
The musical performances in this movie are chilling and incredible. What was it like experiencing those musical numbers on set and even reading them in the script?
My brain immediately goes to our read through. That was the first time I heard Miles sing and play the guitar, and that was the first time we heard all the music.
Okay. So I'll take that out. Yeah. So what you were saying?
Um, Damn, I started to lose.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I started to lose.
Yes, I can hear you.
I was saying I'm started to lose. What was I saying before? Um, oh, in terms of the
You said
KKK,
if
the KKK thing was added so abruptly at the end. It was kind of stupid. It's like, bro, they haven't been a factor in this whole movie really, and then all of a sudden, like aside from them being mentioned from times, but then all of a sudden you're gonna have this big epic battle with them at the end. Like that came out of nowhere, and that was just some shit to get black people like, oh yeah, it's like, but it
yeah,
had not. It really that scene could have been left out, or
yeah,
make the whole movie about that shit.
yeah.
You know,
I was kind of curious because there were white people in the theater there, and I'm like wanted to know, like I was kind of curious, like what was their thoughts about it? Because you know how white people are. When they see certain things, especially relating to slavery, a lot of them they're
yeah, it's
still
gonna be
funny
triggering.
about that.
It's gonna
Yeah,
trigger. Well, here's the
yeah,
thing. Here's the thing, bro. Most white people in America today, especially if you're living in like states like New York and California, they don't agree with groups like the KKK. They look at them as crazy extremists.
right.
What I think white people feel though is uncomfortable because they're just like, didn't we get past this already? Like, why are y'all, you know, focusing on them? But the thing is, I can agree with them in the context of this movie. Like the movie shoehorning them in at the end,
Yeah,
it didn't do anything to make the movie better. And it was one of those things
right.
where it's like propaganda. Like let's get both white people and black people riled up with this last scene. And that's the thing people gotta understand. We as
Yeah,
we as black people gotta understand people that run the movie industry, they know how to use racism and shit to get us both sides riled up. and hating each other when they're the ones benefiting off of that bullshit, you know?
Right.
Like
Right. And that,
just like how they used to fucking hate the Irish, the English that is, and they sit there and go and create this idea of, well, all white people being like under one race of type shit. It was a way to get black people and Irish people to start like looking at each other sideways. You know, it's like
okay.
the divide and conquer strategy. And
Right.
the white people who run the movie industry, they don't like the average white person, but they're gonna make them think like, oh yeah, we're for you or whatever. Or like, well, right now, the mainstream media wants is trying to make it seem like they really like black people, but bro, they like brainwashing black people. They don't fucking like
Right.
black people. Like, I fucking hate the mainstream media, like with a passion.
Right. And the thing is, not too long ago, there was a stabbing, with the kid in Texas, and he stabbed the white dude because the white dude, from what I know, he was bullying well, he wanted him to get out the tent and stuff. It was raining, so the black kid, he was sitting there, he was sitting on the tent or something like that. I think it was like a track field or something, a track field. And so the white kid approached him, told him to get out. And so I don't know, the black kid stabbed him. And so that was a news about race and all that stuff. So when I seen this movie, it was like, oh boy, now we going through the present, now we going to the past, you know.
Yeah,
So
they gonna do that. They're gonna do that like clockwork, bro. Like if you really pay attention, if you really pay attention, like usually during election years
yeah,
is the years when the media really starts to hype up race shit. Like
right,
go back to the year when Donald Trump was first elected. Like leading up to that presidency, you had a lot of the Black Lives Matter stuff. You had and even when Barack was in, you had the Michael Brown, the police stuff, but it was always usually during election years when they start to ramp it up.
right,
When like this stuff goes on year round, every year throughout, like racism hasn't ended, and it's never going to end. Like people want to pretend like it could end. The truth is, it could end, but the problem is we're all raised to believe in this illusion called race.
right,
Race is a construct that was created. Um, I'm not going to say by white people. It's been around for a long time, but it was definitely weaponized by Western Europeans, especially based on skin tone, to a point now where we're all brainwashed with it. We are
right,
really, really psychologically brainwashed with it. And it's so much a part of our country's history that we are like almost in a way indoctrinated with it.
right,
So that's why I say like racism, there's always going to be acts of hatred and race-based type of stuff. Or here's the thing, that whole thing about the white person stabbing that dude. You know what's funny is you talk about how the dude said, I guess the white dude was mad that he didn't get up and do the 10 or some shit like that. Could have been just an angry, crazy white person who fucking just went off at the wrong moment and he decided to stab this guy because maybe he has a history with him. He fucking hates him or whatever.
yeah,
We can't always assume that when a crime happens between a white and a black person that it's always race motivated.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
I'm not trying to throw the dude off the hook. I mean, he definitely shouldn't have done that
yeah,
shit. It may have been race related. I know that there's a lot of white people in the country that are racist as fuck. They just know how to hide it. They know how to hide
right,
it,
yeah.
or
That's the thing.
they're waiting for the day when they can unleash it. But here's I'm gonna throw in the caveat, and this is something that black people fucking hate hearing. There's a lot of racist black people too. You can be
Mm,
racist and be black. I want to hear this shit about we can't be racist because we don't run the economic system and the social structure. And it's like, nah, man, racism is basically the belief that your race, one race is superior or inferior to others, and acting upon like hatred and trying to in a way it could be bullying, all this other shit. All groups of people have that propensity or the ability to do that.
Right.
It's just most obvious to us when white people are doing it because historically in this country they have been the ones doing it to us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You said a mouthful. You said a mouthful. That's why I wanted you to. That's why I wanted your perspective on it. You know, did you see? I don't think you seen what you call another hyped on movie was Marvel's Thunderbolts. I seen that on Friday. I was discussing it earlier.
I
That
heard
I
it
seen
sucked,
it.
and it looked like it sucked. Like I heard it was bad.
I wouldn't say it sucked. I thought it was okay. It wasn't a bad flick. I mean, there was some parts it had me laughing and stuff like that. You know, listen to what this girl say about it.
Hey guys, as you can see, I just got out of seeing Thunderbolts. Don't mind me. Get yourself ready. It is a roller coaster of emotions. This is a therapy session for real. Yelena, kick ass. The Winter Soldier, my God, when he does that one wheelie on that motorcycle, he ass. This is a chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. One of the greatest Marvel movies that I've seen so far. Go ahead and watch it.
Exaggerating, but you know, it's
Yeah,
whatever.
it sounds like she's paid by Marvel to come out here and pull. This is what I'm saying. These YouTubers and TikTokers and influencers, man, a lot of them just look. It looks to me like they're doing everything they can either to get popular, become popular, get rewarded by the algorithm,
Yeah.
or they're paid by the industry. They actually work for Marvel or some shit, and they're fucking like paid to go out here and do that shit. Like
Yeah, but they could pay
that's
me. I'll do.
that is
I have. They could. I'll do that.
you do that stuff.
I mean, if I mean, if I was getting paid to do it, why not?
Nah, fuck that. I'm all about authenticity, man. I'm really, I'm serious. I'm about authenticity, man. I could
Uh,
never, I couldn't be paid to sit there and come out of, say, a movie that I thought, not even a movie that I
but it's
hate.
not truthful. I get it. I get it. It's
Yeah,
not
it's just,
truthful.
I just can't do that. It's
It's
just not to
honest.
me. And that's why those people would never come to someone like me to like bro, like like, that's another thing too, man. Like people, we gotta have standards on the truth and like authenticity. Like we're living in an increasingly fake world because the
Yeah.
internet is making it easy for people to be fake
Right.
because popularity or money. But the truth is, money, like especially in my experience, money, especially when you're doing it for fake reasons, like you're not being true to yourself, it actually comes and goes very fast. Like
Mm,
you end up spending it a lot, or like you're not using wisdom with it, or all of a sudden like a bunch of just crazy shit happens. Like
mm,
I'm not saying that's universal, but just doing like trying to be inauthentic just to get money, like that's one of the main traps that white people have used against black people,
mm,
since post slavery is like, okay, we're gonna make you like obsess over money and materialism, and we're gonna use that as a fucking as a lure. We're gonna get you to compromise your morals at all costs, so that we can, pay you to hype some other shit up. Like,
mm,
think about it. Think about if you were being paid to hype stuff up that deep down was detrimental to the black community, detrimental to your family members, or to say your nieces, or just a little friend that you friends, or like up and coming youngsters. Like, think about that. Like, if you know what you're being paid to do is detrimental to those people, yet you're still willing to do it, like, bro, I wouldn't want to be. I don't want to be around people like that. And I'm just saying,
yeah.
what I've seen with the hip hop industry, the hip hop industry has become that. Like,
Yeah.
like rap today, when we talk about, like, everybody knows rap today sucks. Like as a whole,
Yeah.
it fucking sucks because it's dumb and the lyrics. I mean, it's dumb and the lyrics are all about raunchy fucking degradation and all this other type of stuff. But the reason why people continue to put that stuff out there is because, hey, they're getting paid to do it, and it's mainly meant to influence the minds of young people, particularly young Black, and I will say Hispanics as well. Um, it's it's poison, but they continue to get artists to come out there and do it because there's no shortage of artists who are like, you know what, I just want to get paid. Some of them
Yeah.
are ignorant to the whole fact, but like, but that I just went on a long tangent just because I'm just like, man, I couldn't, I can't be paid to like, I mean, I struggle with getting paid to do art on drawings that I don't like doing,
Yeah.
but it's a passion
But
that I have, so
yeah, you was gonna show me some of your drawings.
I'm not gonna show you some. I was gonna show you just one I'm working on.
Yeah, you could show me. Yeah, why not? You could show me. Hold
It's
on.
not done. You're probably not gonna be able to see it that well. Let's be
Let me
honest.
see. Yeah, I can see that. It's a chick. Yeah, it's a chick boxer. You like showing the boxer chicks. Yeah, I have a thing for that.
You do?
No, you,
Oh, I thought
I,
you said you do. I'm like, yeah.
yeah, you have a thing for showing the boxer thing.
I haven't been
Yeah,
drawing them as much, but I've been playing around with drawing these really plus sized ones, but still
right,
muscular.
right.
Like like you can tell they work out or they're strong as fuck, but they're like,
Yeah.
you know, more built like the what's it called? The old, like the old Renaissance type of woman, like really curvy. But
Right.
I'm doing that, and then I'm playing around. Like I was using Timmy Turner's mom as like the design for the hair and for the face of this character.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the stuff I'm into. What's funny is and that's why I feel like it's funny hearing you and George talk and all that. Like I listened to the interview and stuff that y'all did today. I'm glad
Yeah.
you chimed in a few things at the end. Like sometimes I'll be like, bro, you need to talk more on there. Like sometimes I just feel like
Yeah,
you
I
just
mean, yo, sometimes like I be knowing what you're talking about because sometimes I see some clips and he sometimes I don't be saying nothing. I'm just there. I'm like, damn, you don't have no clips of me saying something, but the thing is, they go real deep into the muscle thing, and I'm just don't not really aligned with that all the time. Like,
well, then you gotta go research it. Research some of the stuff they talking about, or because you got to realize, like, why am I on here talking about this stuff if I'm not really that well knowledgeable about it, or if I don't
yeah,
care
yeah,
anyway?
yeah. I got
You
you.
know,
I got you.
like the stuff that
I
he
mean,
did say.
I try to do. I try to do it as much as I can, but after a while, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I look at. I think I like the fetish part more than the sport. Really.
Yeah, bro, I can see that with both of y'all. Even George is the same way. I can see that when I'm watching, bro. Like, and here's the thing: these women can see that too. Like,
Yeah, I
uh,
know.
Nancy was very good on the show today. Like
Yeah,
Nancy Lewis
it was
was
cool.
very she was very knowledgeable. She yeah. I mean, I felt like she was like, I'm not saying that she could just carry a whole show by herself, but whenever she was speaking, it's like, okay, she's definitely giving good insight, perspective, blah blah blah. George, just to be honest, I like George, but the truth is, it seems like he's talking more about the competition stuff, but in reality,
Yeah.
what he's mainly interested in is the muscle fetish, worship, that type of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that,
Mm.
but I can see through it because I'm just like, just come. I mean, he has come out a few times.
Well, he do say he's a savage perv, the savage perv and stuff, a
No,
muscle
I know
perv smoke.
he lets some of that stuff out. But here's the thing: if you're gonna be